What's up YouTube, this is Drake News here, coming today with a Halloween deck profile, and this is going to be Dark Magicians. And my friend here is going to be covering it, so let's get started.
Alright, well let's see, first up we're going to have monster lineup. This is a pretty standard traditional build. It's got a couple of extra little things in here, but for the most part it's going to be your standard build, what you see in just about every other deck. You're going to have your triple lineup, Dark Magician. Personally, I like having all three artworks just because I like the variety.
Keep flipping for something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And this one is actually my favorite just because it is the original Legend of Blue Eyes Dark Magician. After that, of course, you're going to run your triple Apprentice Illusion Magician. This girl is so awesome. She saves games, she wins games, and I mean, she's what really helps you push for that OTK. Next up, I'm running double of the Magician of Dark Illusion, just because it helps you spam the field on your opponent's turn when they're least expecting it. Gets you more of your procs for your Dark Magical Circle. We'll go into that later. Magician's Rod. We're going to run triple of this. This is what you really need. This is what makes the deck go. Honestly, this is your Stratos, this is your Searcher. It's what helps you complete your hand and just take complete control over your opponent's turn. I also like to run double of the Chocolate Magician Girl. I know she's kind of fallen out of style. You're not going to see too many people run her. This is my own personal little tech on this. But she does give you that extra draw power, helps you build your hand and complete it. And there's still some people who've kind of forgotten her, so they do run straight into her effect where if you attack her, you get to special summon a dark spellcaster type monster from your graveyard and force them to attack that instead and have your opponent's attacking monster. I'm also still running double of the Elemental Hero Prisma, just because if the deck does brick a little bit, you can't get into any of your Dark Magician stuff, but you do run into your Prisma. You can still take your Dark Magician, pitch it from deck to grave, and it also does help with Eye of Timaeus. And lastly, Magician's Robe. It's honestly not that great of a card, but I do run it in here just for the versatility. It is still another Dark Spellcaster type monster, helps proc effects. And it's a tribute fodder for the Illusion Magic spell card, which we'll get into in just a minute. But that will complete our monster lineup. Next we'll go into the spells. Of course, triple Dark Magic Circle. This is probably my favorite card in the deck just because it stuns your opponent. If you know exactly when to proc the effect to banish your opponent's cards, I mean, you just ruin their day and you destroy their turn. This can make or break an opponent's turn single-handedly. Also the draw power. I mean, you combine that with your triple pot of duality and all of a sudden this deck is starting to get a lot of draw power very quickly. A lot of people don't like to run it just because they're like, oh, well, I can't special summon on my turn. Well, it's really not that big of a deal. You're not doing a whole lot of special summoning on your turn. You're mostly summoning on your opponent's turn. And if you start first like you want to with your Dark Magician deck, then, you're getting that initial draw power to set up to just completely take over your opponent's turn. We're running double Eye of Timaeus because the new fusion card is broken. It's what saves your deck. It's what makes it viable and playable again. And again, I'm only running 2 of these just because 3 is a little bit bricky. I know you can't search it with anything except for Pot of Duality. It's basically the only way you can try and pull it a little bit quicker. And the Chocolate Magician Girl, which is actually one of my favorite little combos, and I'll go into that after the deck profile. But this also does work with Prisma, which is why I'm still running it. So again, it's just leaving me versatility on my plays. Running double of the Dark Magic Inheritance. Again, this is also just a really good card. Helps you, gives you a little bit more search power. Helps you pull into what you need when you need it. We're only running one of the Dark Magic attack just because it is searchable. It's easily searchable in this deck, so I don't see a reason to really run more than one of it. We are running one of the Dark Magic Veil. It's not searchable, but it is a free res. And we're also running one of the Illusion Magic. Again, it is searchable, so you don't need to run more than one copy of it. And that's another hand building card. So leaves you able to completely take over that opponent's turn very quickly. And then lastly, we'll have the trap lineup. Of course, you have to run triple Eternal Soul. Again, this is another saving grace of the deck and just absolutely powerful, almost broken card. The only reason why it's not completely broken is just because if your opponent can get rid of it, I mean, it's gonna it wipes your field, makes you have a very bad day. Running triple of the Magician Navigation. Previously, I was running only two, but being able to have so much more draw power in the deck now, and the fact that your opponent can't break your back row as easily, running three is a lot more viable now. The rest of these are all one-ofs. We're running one of the Dark Renewal. Again, just a very, very good, very useful card. I am running one of the Black Illusions. This card has actually saved me so much. It saved me almost as much as my Eternal Soul because, again, if I don't run into these, I don't see these, or for whatever reason I just can't search into one. Black Illusion, if I draw into it, I mean, it's basically does the same thing for a single turn. One of the Quaking Mirror Forces, just because every now and again your opponent does get out that real big overpowered monster, and they try to break your board with it. And again, just good, useful card, saves games. Same thing with Solemn Warning and Solemn Strike. They need no explanation. Every deck needs to run at least one of each, if not more copies of the Solemn Strike. If I was to run more Solemn Strikes, I'd probably consider siding out either the Quaking or the Black Illusion. But honestly, I do just fine with just one, just because I have so much draw power right now. Next we'll go into the extra deck lineup. And of course you have to run double of the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. This is why the deck has become viable again. When it's summoned, it's listed as a Dark Magician monster both on field and in grave, but most importantly, while this card is face up on the field, your opponent cannot target or destroy your spell or trap cards. So you get the inherent protection of your Eternal Soul onto this guy, and this guy protects your Eternal Soul, Dark Magic Circle, all your other necessary spell and trap cards. I am only running one Link monster in the deck. I'm only running one Decode Talker, just because you don't need to spam your extra deck that much. So just a single Decode Talker will do just fine, opens up 2 spaces. And really the only 3 extra deck monsters I'm ever really going into are Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, Decode Talker, and Ebon Illusion Magician. Now that being said, I do run 3 Ebon Illusion Magicians just because things do happen. If he gets banished, if he gets destroyed, I do want to be able to have a way to get back into him. He is probably the next most powerful extra deck monster aside from Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, just because he lets you special summon, spam out more Dark Magicians, and he banishes. So, I mean, you banish off your Dark Magic Circle, you banish off your Ebon Illusion Magician, and then you already have a board that you've probably spammed out very easily. You push for OTK just so easily. But for versatility's sake, we are also running an Amulet Dragon. We are running the Dark Paladin. I still run into a couple of people playing Odd Eyes, and it's real fun to just tutor out the Dark Paladin and watch them crap themselves when they see that. I am running double of the Ebon High Magician. Honestly, I think I've probably only ever summoned him once, but he is in there. I am running the Red Ice Flare Metal Dragon. Yeah, that is my Ghost Rare Red Ice Flare. I actually spent probably about 3 hours trying to find out where I had set him, what other deck I was using him in. So that's 3 hours of searching just for you. I hope you do appreciate it because it is so shiny and pretty. And just because I do have a lot of level 4s, I do have a lot of level 4 Xyz. Ghost Rare Dark Rebellion, Xyz Dragon, because he matches the Red Eyes so nicely. Ga Cowboy, just because it is funny if you leave your opponent with just a little bit of life, and then you go into Ga Cowboy and push for game. And number 101 and Castell, just because their effects are still fairly useful. So that'll complete the extra deck lineup. Now, like I said, I do have just a very fun little combo that I do like to pull that I mentioned to you earlier. Again, it's just a versatility sake kind of deal. Combo. This is showing that, you know, you get a starting hand, you think you don't really have the best to work with, but turns out you actually have a lot more than you think. So, again, this is one of the reasons why I still keep Elemental Hero Prisma in here.
Oh, right the other way.
Right. Elemental Hero Prisma in here. And then if I start with a Dark Magical Circle, Eye of Timaeus, Pot of Duality, and an Eternal Soul. So what I'll do is I will obviously immediately special summon the Elemental Hero Prisma, and then even though like I already know I'm not really going to have the sorry I messed up just a little bit. So let's say I don't have the Eye of Timaeus, but you know I do have the Dark Magic Circle, Pot of Duality, Eternal Soul. So obviously I'll use Elemental Hero Prisma to go ahead and pitch the Dark Magician. Next I'll play the Dark Magical Circle so that I can see what my next top 3 cards are, and hey, there's that Eye of Timaeus I'm looking for. So even though next 3 cards I can't really do anything with them, I can't pull Eye of Timaeus off of Dark Magical Circle just because of a single word on this card specifying monsters, not the actual Dark Magician card. I'll still set them up so that I know exactly what I'm getting, and then I use Pot of Duality, pull them, pull the Eye of Timaeus out, and then I've already got the Eternal Soul in hand so that on my very next turn I can immediately go ahead and tutor into the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. So I'm already setting up my plays knowing what's going to happen on the next turn. And I'll actually do the same thing with Chocolate Magician Girl if I already have either her out on the field or Elemental Hero Prisma out on the field. You really, even if you can't pull exactly what you want off of Dark Magical Circle, by having both Pot of Duality and Chocolate Magician Girl, you can still use your Dark Magical Circle, use the effect to dictate the order of your next 3 cards to go ahead and set up your draws. So you're getting a lot more out of your draw power from your deck. So yeah, like I said, it's fairly standard, 90% standard, but it's that little 10% difference on the text that I run that make me feel like I get a lot more out of it. Hope you enjoyed, and leave me any comments or suggestions. I'm always open to new ideas.
All right.